Hey guys, me again. Here's another video of one of my other boats. It's my NQD PX16. Cheap piece of crap that you can get all day, every day for like $100, and they do like 5 miles an hour. This boat has obviously been through a lot of different changes. I have a lot of different videos and content on this thing, different build updates. This is kind of its final form for now. um, Right now, it's still running the 1900 kV out of the Sonic Wake, and also it's 120 amp ESC, dynamite stuff. Good motor, good ESC, but I kind of mentioned in a video about my Sonic Wake that I felt like that motor would have been better off in a catamaran or something that was just not as heavy, or they should have added a bigger ESC. Well, I found this boat to work great with that setup. So kind of going to go over some stuff in detail to show you how I got it to this point and how it performs, honestly. As you see, dual water outlets. This paint job is old and it's been on here for about 3 years or 4 years. I've moved a couple times, and as you can see, it's been chipped and scratched, but otherwise it's holding up okay for a cheap rattle can paint job. Can't really expect much. Probably wondering what this is. This is my little drain plug. Made a little water pickup back here with some tubing, and just kind of made a little mount out of some plastic. Nothing special, but it works. This strut is actually from a Shockwave 26. Same strut that comes on like the Blackjack 24 and stuff. I kind of want to ease up this abrupt surface here on the back half, so I might even put like a collar or something right here to kind of cover this up and make it more of a gradual, more hydrodynamic surface here, because this is kind of no bueno. But yeah, it does have a different rudder. I think it's a 90 millimeter or 95 millimeter. You can see where I plugged in the holes because it used to be a dual motor. Just I want to do something single and try something out different, because I've only done dual motor on this boat, so I figured I'd try something different. So yeah, as for the inside, there's that 1900 3674. It's going to a .150 cable, and there's that 120. This honestly, the drive on this boat is extremely smooth. I don't know, which is interesting because I don't have a real strut bushing here. It's literally the stuffing tube comes all the way through the 7/32, and the actual 3/16 prop shaft fits pretty almost perfect into that stuffing tube. So if you don't have a strut or anything, you're building a custom boat, I don't necessarily recommend that, because obviously heat, because there's no strut or bushing there. I mean, there's no bearing or bushing. But as long as you keep it greased pretty well, I haven't had any issues. It doesn't even honestly get that hot, so I can't really complain there. But yeah, it's an extremely like smooth drive. Like, it's even smoother than it was in the Sonic Wake, so I'm pretty impressed by that. Also, this is my Jew-rigged my servo mount, which is actually made out of a couple pieces of cardboard, and I epoxied them together and just kind of let the epoxy dry overnight, and it created a hard part, and I just cut it out and drilled the holes for the servo. Also, I just put a piece of foam back here, and that just kind of keeps the servo from moving around. It doesn't look the best, but kind of don't care. Cheaply done. It's a cheap boat, so whatever works, whatever you have laying around the house that works. And I like to try to recycle as much as possible. I like to try to use old parts from other boats, because I am kind of a stickler, and I like things to be nice, but at the same time I also like to save money, and if I don't have to spend it, I'd rather build it or make it myself. So there's all that. The interesting thing is, so I actually ran this boat on the same prop I'm using on my Sonic Wake, which is the 1.7, 1.6, which is about a 43 millimeter prop, 1.6 pitch, and I was able to achieve 57 on this thing on 6S, which is pretty respectable considering what this thing is. It's not super light anymore. I've added so much epoxy and other stuff to this boat that it's not light like it used to be. I have foam all the way in the front for obvious reasons. Um, but I have to admit, this thing really flies and it rides on the water unlike any other hull I've actually seen. And see, this is interesting to me because these boats were not made to be fast boats at all. It was literally made as a toy. Obviously, it was based off of probably a real boat, and that's probably where a lot of the speed characteristics come in because technically it is stepped. I have worked the steps. I've added some texture to those as well. I don't know if you can see that. But they are true, and they're flat. More of an edge on all of them. I filled in all the holes, obviously. Um, so yeah, this hull actually rides really well in the water, and you can see on some of my videos of this thing really jamming, and it impresses me every time to think that this is so cheap, but it rides as good as it does. I mean, I see like, videos of like the Blackjack 29 or the older Miss Geico 29, and honestly, I feel like this boat rides better than those boats do and can still hit the same mile per hour. Like right now, this is about as fast as like a well set up like Valey's 29 from Proboat, but much cheaper to build, and it goes just as fast. And honestly, I'm pretty sure I can get over 60 out of this boat if I were to tune it a little more. My strut is not super high, but I noticed it does have a little bit of bow lift, especially when I'm at full throttle. It kind of likes to bounce a little bit, so I might need to bring that strut down just a hair. And then if I do that, I might be able to keep the front down enough to, create a little bit more aerodynamics. And hopefully I can hit that 50 or that 60 mile an hour mark, sorry. But yeah, I was very close, 57.4, I believe, or 57.8, something like that. I know it was close to 58 miles an hour, and it was way faster than I was expecting. I haven't really tried too many other props. I tried a 43 1.4 on here, and it seems to like that prop a lot. Not quite as much top end as that 1.7, 1.6, but I'm going to keep testing and tuning on this thing. I'm going to see if I can get it to go over 60, and I'm probably not going to go too much more after that because I just don't want to kill it. I've already put so much time and effort into this thing. I don't want to end up flipping or crashing and splitting this thing in two. I actually had a couple of ideas of using this hull for a mold. Since it's like two pieces here, I can kind of cut the epoxy out up here, and I could split the hull in two and use them as molds. And I thought about doing some fiberglass molds of this boat, just because I really like the way it looks, and it has kind of that old school cat design, but it's still, got deep enough sponsons that, you can actually go over pretty decent waves and it's fine. It's not so much like the narrow sleeker cats where you really got to be careful in choppy water because the boat's obviously not very tall, and you could either end up poking through the wave and submarining your boat, or you're bouncing on top of it constantly. This thing definitely bounces on top, but once you start moving quickly, it it flattens out, and even with a little bit of chop, like I was saying, it still goes fine. This thing also handles really good, which is impressive. Even with the batteries down in the sponsons, they're down low, so your center of gravity, your weight is going to be down really low. Now that's a good thing. However, sometimes when you're trying to take a corner quickly with a cat, the cat likes to catch a rail and wants to try to flip on you. I have not really had that much issues with this thing with the batteries down here. Just at corners flat, I can honestly take corners extremely fast, even though I don't, just for the simple fact that I don't want to flip this boat, and I really don't know how watertight this top is. Not very watertight at all, I'm assuming. I have flipped this boat before, but I had a different kind of canopy setup, and it was a lot more sturdy than what I'm using now. Yeah, no, of course you can use tape and tape off the canopy and all that. It's just, I want to try to avoid any problems, or, don't want to add more work to my table, I should say. So, I'm trying to keep it at where it's at, and if I can hit 60 miles an hour, I'll be happy. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I know I'm just rambling on, but I just wanted to show my different boats and how I got them the way I got them, and the reason why I got them the way I got them. I'm pretty sure I could have spent my money on something else, and I'm pretty sure I could have bought something ready to run, for like the money I spent on my other two boats. With the money I spent on my other two boats, I probably could have bought like an Oxidian Marine Dominator or something, but me personally, I'm the type of person that, likes to build and tinker, and if something doesn't work, it's okay, because, that's part of it, you learn. If something doesn't work right, then you know what not to do next time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day. See you.